Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Cat's Whiskers podcast. My name is Jono Bullard. Is former Panther Brock Wilson the man to bring fresh thinking to the Elite League? Wilson has engaged fans from all clubs through social media with his ideas to make the league better. On Monday the 16th of January I spoke to Brock about his vision for the league, his ideas and if they are actually possible. Brock Wilson, great to have you back on the podcast once again.
Awesome to be back. Thanks for having me.
Well, there's plenty for us to talk about and get through. You've created a bit of a whirlwind over the past few days, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. I think it's been more than a few days. I think leading back to the last time you and I spoke, it just seems like I think that the league is crying out for help right now, and you know, I think that with obviously the people have kind of spoken, and you know, like I said, I'm a passionate person. I'm not going to hold back. I have no reason to. And I just have been speaking from the heart and the mind right now. And things have come to me. And it's just, you know, I've had time to think about it even more and more. But like you said, it's just the opportunity is kind of thrown in front of you. You got to kind of jump on it. And I don't think that anybody else involved with the league has been as vocal as I've been, especially as of recently. So, you know, like I said, it'll ruffle some feathers, but it seems to have a lot of support, which is amazing.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly, but first, it would be churlish not to talk about the Nottingham Panthers, your previous club, of course, winning the Continental Cup. I mean, that is a huge, huge thing for Nottingham hockey.
I couldn't be more proud of that group. The last time you and I had spoken, and it was a little bit hard because, you know what, like you said, they weren't being very consistent. They were provided with an opportunity to really showcase what they can do as a team and what Nottingham Panthers should be able to compete at. And they did it. I watched every game, you know, and well, except for the first one there, and then I kept track of the media notes and things that everybody was saying, and I just sat back and I'm like, that's exactly what the town, the fans, the league deserves, is a team like that to run with it, to really show what you and I have spoken about. The Nottingham Panthers, the league, is so much better than what people give credit for. And I'm so glad that they were able to do that on an international stage like they did.
How big do you think it could be overall for British hockey?
I think it could be massive. It's a step. It's a step in the right direction, and that's what they needed to do with the play, the on-ice factor. And like I said, it's not an easy tournament, and it's going to sit in history forever. It's like I said, it's just something that people can't fathom how hard it is to win an international tournament, and for them to go up there as the lower seed in the tournament. And I guarantee you, those teams, the fans, they all thought it was going to be a cakewalk playing against Nottingham. Well, guess what? The Elite League, Nottingham Panthers, went up there and they proved themselves, and they proved for the fans that this league is something.
We're going to look at what was tweeted by yourself last week that caused so much engagement from fans from around the Elite League. But first, what kicked it off? It was the Tony Smith statement about the Sheffield Steelers Supporters Club no longer being allowed to sell away travel from the Sheffield Arena. Also, they were suspending podcasts, and that seemed to sort of hit a nerve with you because, like you say, it's something we've talked about previously. Obviously, since Tony Smith has now reversed his decision, but what was it about that initial statement from the league chairman that just hit a nerve with you?
I felt like it was a bullying situation. I really did. I felt like they feel like he has the upper hand with the Sheffield Steelers, and they're going to be able to dictate what the fans can and cannot do. You know, he's trying to force people to come to the games, and he's trying to take away the other privileges that these paying fans deserve. You know, and it set me off because, you know what? Well, wait a minute. These fans deserve a voice. They don't deserve that kind of treatment. As much as they've given the Sheffield Steelers, that's how you treat your fans, the people that are paying tickets to walk into the doors and buying merchandise and apparel and calendars and everything else. That's the way you're going to treat them. I thought it was unfair, and I thought it was quite ridiculous. And I don't know Tony Smith. I don't know him at all. I have no problem with his character. Like I said, I can't judge him. I can't say anything. But from the facts and the fact that he tried to do that, it seemed to me like a bullying situation. And I've always been taught in a situation like that, you step in. And I decided to, at least voice my opinion. Is there anything I can do? No. But I can voice my opinion and back the Sheffield fans and give them some hope and say, hey, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. And I feel like people rallied around that, and it should be like that. I just, you can't do that that gives you so much and all of a sudden try and bully them into a situation and take away all these resources and things that they want to do to support their club. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I decided to speak up and say something, because and on top of that, being the chairman of the league, you're gonna say something like that and try and make that happen. It's mind blowing.
Of course, he's since reversed that decision. What were your thoughts when it came out that he actually decided, no, this is a bad idea, I've made a mistake, and we'll go back to the way we were?
Well, the people from the United Kingdom are not idiots. You can't pull fast ones on them. They're quick, and they're very witty. I think the fans know what the reasoning for the apology were. I said it was a forced apology, and that's the way I feel. I'll stand by that. I think that the apology that he issued was a backtracking. Oh no, I made a mistake. All this backlash. I gotta do something. And you know what? Maybe it was probably, an advisor or somebody said, hey, you probably should apologize, because I know Tony Smith is probably a very proud guy, and it took a lot for him to take a step back and issue an apology.
We'll go to some of the things you said at the time, and a couple of things that you put on Twitter. And the first one was just something to think about. And you put a screenshotted article that you'd written about how passionate you are about the Elite League, how engaged the fans are, and it's time for changes, because you believe that the league isn't even close to its full potential. That tweet got 128 retweets and 280 likes, as I looked before I spoke to you. Then a day later, you put, if I had the support or the league wants me, I would be there. I would love to be a part of it. 71 retweets, 253 likes. How surprised were you that not only you got such engagement from fans, but it was also a massive cross-sections of fans from across the league? It wasn't just Panthers fans.
I was surprised, and then again, I wasn't. I know how passionate the fans are in that league, and I've spoken about it. It was very humbling, and it was just a very amazing situation to sit back and look at all these responses for me, knowing that all these people had supported what I had said, because it was really just off the top of my head. It was something that I spoke from the heart, and it's the way I felt. And it's crazy to me that all these people feel the same way, and it's really just a stage for how these people really do feel and where the league's at. The people and the fans are crying out for help. There was a lot of players in the Department of Player Safety statements that I made that had wanted to back me, or I got individual messages. And it's what I am saying is resonating with a lot of people. And the fact that they feel like they have a voice really led me to the next statement of, hey, listen, if the league is interested, I would love to come over and help. You know how passionate I am about the Elite League, okay? I'm in a spot now where I've been kind of figuring out what I want to do with hockey, and all of a sudden, this all happened, and it's like a shining light. Okay, well, maybe this is your purpose right now. This is your destiny, is at this moment, is to come over and help out the Elite Hockey League become the league that it can be, and to be a voice for the fans and create an ultimate experience for everybody involved, for them to have a sense of pride in saying, yes, we are proud fans of the Elite League, and everybody in Europe knows exactly what they're talking about.
So I suppose the question would be, are you setting yourself up for a job?
I can see where that would come from. And the reality is no, I'm not. It's something that I would love to do. In a sense where people try and say the right things, they want a job, this and that. Listen, Jono, there's a million different things I can do with hockey. I don't need to come over to the Elite League and be the commissioner. I feel like it's something I would be passionate about. There's coaching. I work with many NHLers. I mean, strength and conditioning. I work with Vladi Tarasenko, and, I've worked with Pat Maroon and all these other guys. There's other avenues I can go. Okay. What I find appealing to this situation is the fact that I can come in and help. I can make a league take its next step on an international stage to where people can, all ages, all organizations, say, wow, we made a change, we made a difference, now look at where we are. And I want to be a part of that.
You've done an article in the Nottingham Post that, as we're talking, it's just gone out, and you've listed different action plan that you feel you could progress the Elite League. And I just want to go through some of them. And one of your big passions is the Department of Player Safety. And you said you want former players to oversee that, with fines used to improve training of referees and linesmen.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think that's one of the steps you take in the right direction. Obviously, the player safety is very important to me, and I know it's important for the players in the league. It doesn't necessarily have to be just former players. Like I said, it would be a panel of guys getting together, people who know the league, who aren't biased, like you and I have spoken about, and have the right intentions, who know the game. Players tend to do a better job of that, as you see in the NHL, because they do understand the situations given in the on-ice play. But like I said, that would be definitely a main focus of me. If you can correct that, and you can put the money that you do find teams for and players, you can put it towards the officiating on ice. And I think that's a big difference that it could make, is improving the officiating, giving these guys a better platform for themselves. I said one of the things in the interview with Matt, maybe you do an official scale. We have a head officiating, and as somebody who actually knows the game, who hasn't just been involved, who maybe is a beneficial in the Elite League, who's been around for a long time, who's the head official. And the refs get a grading scale every game. They get a grading scale. And guess what? You make a bad call, this and that. Okay, so be it. But if you miss major calls, you get deducted in your points, in your grades. Towards the end of the year, the better officiate, or the better rated officials, they get the bigger games. And you know what? Maybe give these officials incentive to be better. Okay, say, hey, listen, you give these guys bonuses at the end of the year. Okay, maybe they get higher pay. The higher rated official you are, the more money you're going to make. Right? I think that's you have to look after referees too. I think that you can't just look at referees and say, here's $100 for refereeing a game. That's it. You have to really invest in making these guys want to get better themselves and want to officiate a good game.
One of the other things you said, an independent commissioner, chief executive and committee designed to give clubs an equal say. Now, obviously the Elite League at the moment is run by the owners. The owners all sit on the board. Tony Smith, as we've already said, is the Elite League chairman, as well as the Sheffield Steelers owner. That is going to be something that's going to be very difficult to get buy-in from people who are already, I suppose, in power.
I agree. And I don't want these guys to feel like I'm attacking them. I respect everything that they have done. I understand that it's a tough gig to have a team in the IHL and for them to succeed on a daily basis. I understand that. What I want to do is create an equal opportunity and a platform for them to really take it to the next step. I'm an open guy. I'd like to think I'm fair, I'm honest, and I think that, I want to work with them to better the league. And I want to be fair. I want to have dialogue. I want to be able to come in, us all sit down, throw around ideas, and, meet their needs, but also meet the needs of the league. And that's what I think they need. They need somebody. Yes, they have their board. I'm not trying to break up that board because they're owners of the league, and I respect that. But what I'm trying to do is be another voice that comes in. They give me the responsibility of looking after what's best for the league, on ice play, Department of Player Safety, community involvement, all those things that you and I can talk about. But I think that that's what they need. And I'm also going to be working for them. And obviously, it's what's needed. I think that it's a lot of responsibility for them to have to run the business aspect and this and that, and then all of a sudden make decisions about the league as well. It will take the workload off them.
But couldn't the accusation be thrown at you? You obviously have links to the Panthers. You've said how much you love the Panthers. You an ex-player. Could that sort of charge of bias not be thrown at you as well?
I think it can be thrown at me. But people who have sensed my character and they know where I am at, it's going to be challenged. It always will be, I'm sure, if I make a decision. But I know that I have the league's best interest at heart. You know when I talk, you can sense it. Do I love the Panthers? Yes, 100%. But when I would come into this situation, I'm looking at the league as a whole. I'm looking at 10 different teams who all need equal treatment. Panthers, yes, 100% was a Panther, but guess what? They're not my number one priority. All 10 teams are. And I think that's the idea and the mentality that you have to have coming into this situation. The only way the league's going to take that next step is for that to happen. And if I do have a bias, guess what? I'm not going to be successful. I'm going to make wrong decisions. I'm going to be, geared towards the Panthers, and that's not what the league needs. And I don't think it's fair for the Panthers because guess what? They're going to be under scrutiny. And that's not what I want. I want the league to be better as a whole. I want every fan base to have a voice. And that's where I'm at. And I understand that there's going to be scrutiny. I may not have everybody won over. You're right when I get there. But, a few years down the road, I want everybody to say, wow, that's the best decision we've made is to bring Brock Wilson in because look at what he's done for this league. And if I can do that, I'll be happy with that.
One of the other things about the league is obviously funding and got fantastic ideas in that article, but where does the funding come from to create these initiatives?
Well, like you said, right now the league's got a funding deal that they have, and that's one of the things that the chief executive and I and the owners would have to sit down and say, okay, well, where's money coming from? Well, guess what? Sponsorship is a massive, massive piece of any sport. The Elite League is okay on sponsors, but guess what? It needs more. And one of the biggest things, biggest ideas that I've had personally is community involvement. And that's what I've spoken with Matt in the article. Community involvement is absolutely massive. Sponsorships and groups want to be a part of something good. And if you have players out in the community, reading at schools, going into hospitals, charities, doing all sorts of commercials and things that they're getting involved, that's where it starts. It starts with that. And if you can build within your community, you're going to have plenty of sponsorships there because people are going to be wanting to jump on board. And like you said, you're going to have to, tweak and balance certain things. And like you said, you're going to have the player safety and the fines and things coming in. Another way would be the ultimate web broadcasts. That was one of the biggest ideas that I had.
Yeah, because just very quickly, one of the things from the article said mandatory webcasts of every game.
Yeah. And what that means is instead of having every club individual webcast here and there, you look at the modules of USHL, the OHL, all these different leagues, okay? They have one sort of webcast, okay? And Fast Hockey and all these different groups, they come in, they do a fantastic job, and the funds come into the league. And that's my ultimate ideal, is you have one company that runs a webcast for the entire league. Every team obviously has its webcast, so you don't have to worry about it. It's not up to the teams. You have one company that does it. This is what we're doing. The funds come into the league, and guess where that money goes? It goes around the league equally. And it's split. And you can use it for whether it be, EHL, we need this for our team, sponsorship. We need to do this. We need to do that. Community events, elite league events. That's where the money would come from in that aspect.
You may also have other challenges? I mean, people may say, well, he's talking the talk, but can he walk the walk? How would you answer that?
I want to get things done. I'm a person who wants to get it done. I would need the support. I'm not one person who can come in and change the world. I understand that. It's going to take a lot of dialogue. It's going to take a lot of push. It's going to take a lot of support. My heart's in the right place. I want what's best for the Elite League. And if I believe it has to start somewhere, and I think it has already started with the support. And that's what I need. If I can have the support of the owners, great. And if we do get something done and I do come over, that's where it starts. And then we can build off that. And that's, ultimately that's my biggest ideal right there, is just taking steps forward. And if we can get this done, I think the league will look back in a few years and say, wow, we made an ultimate decision in there. That's the best thing we could have done.
One of the things that you're also very passionate about is youth hockey. How would you bring that in to what you want to do?
Well, I think that when I say the youth hockey initiative, I think that would be a big, big deal. I know Nottingham, especially David Clark, he does a phenomenal job with the hockey schools and getting involved in the communities and trying to get the game grown in the UK. Now, my hockey initiative would be each team is basically drawn into a situation where they need to get out in the community and kind of invest in the youth hockey programs and kind of introduce it to certain areas like Edinburgh and some of those areas like that. I think that would be a big deal. Whether it be just something small as going to school, playing ball hockey, floor hockey with the kids, reaching out to the communities and doing little things like that. Now, it's separate from the community and, investment program, but going to little, youth hockey practices, is it, guys wearing their jerseys. I think that really shows that you're invested, one, and it grows the game. The kids see you and they get to interact with these guys and they know how cool they are. And the kids love that kind of thing. And it gets the curiosity going. And then for the bigger clubs and the programs, they get to grow what they do have, to another level. And I think that plays a huge part. And guess what? In doing that, you're going to bring those kids to the games, their families to the games, and say they bring a friend to the game, their friends, and they enjoy it, and then all of a sudden they want to get in hockey. That's how the game grows. You look at California and Arizona first pick of the NHL draft. Austin Matthews is from Arizona. It was in the same situation. Nobody played hockey there, but former players got involved in the area. The Arizona Coyotes started their initiatives and really grew the game. And I think that's what it takes. I've always been passionate about youth hockey and being involved. And I think that's a great way for the league to really grow itself in another aspect. It doesn't really take money. All it takes is just getting the guys out to invest their time and to volunteer. In doing that, you can get coaches to give coaching clinics to parents, to people involved, so they learn how to teach the game. And guess what? Ultimately, in the end, British hockey gets better. It betters the program for the GB team. It betters the U20 teams, the 18 teams. I mean, there's so many things that it does in the long run. You may not see it overnight, but it grows. You look at the States, like I said, Arizona. Look at California, how many amazing hockey players are going out of there. Look at St. Louis. 5 first-round picks this year in the NHL draft from a small Midwest town. That's what it does. It takes time, but it happens. And it's just a growing interest of the game. And like I said, it's not just about junior clubs. It's about investing in your younger athletes in the area.
One other thing is you may get people saying, well, all this is great on paper, but it's just not realistic. How do you go about convincing people that it is?
Well, the way I look at it, honestly, is it is realistic. These aren't massive terms. These aren't massive things. These are simple things. Getting involved in the community is a very, very easy thing to do. The webcast is a very easy thing to do. You just have to have the right people involved with the right mentality, and it can be done. Like I said, the naysayers are always going to be there, but I believe that if you have the support of the right people and you have people who are at the same mindset of you and really want to take it to the next level, we can do this. And with the voice of the fans and the support of the fans, I also believe it can be done.
There are some people within the game who are a bit stuck in their ways, and you would probably come up with quite a bit of opposition. How would you deal with that?
Like you said, it's a dialogue thing. And even if I do come up with, opposition to some of the things that I want to do, you have to sit back and say, okay, do you want what's best for the league? And if you don't necessarily want what's best for the league, that's fine, so be it. Then I don't want to be a part of it. I don't feel like we can make a change. And that's why I think that the fans have such a big voice in this, and the players is, if they want change and they want to see the things that I want to see, then we can't be stopped. But like you said, if those people really do push and they don't want it done, well then, you know what? We have to have dialogue. We have to start somewhere. And if it's a give and take, it's a give and take. And I know that I'm not going to be able to come over there and get all these things put in place. But I think if they see one thing work, then they're going to be open to another and then another. And if we can steamroll that and continue to make things happen, they're going to buy in. And if they buy in, guess what? They're going to benefit in the long run. These teams, these clubs are going to make more money in the long run. And if they see that, because money does make the world go round, I think if they see the money that start coming into their pockets, they're going to open up a lot more. And I think that's one of the things that you need to focus on.
Hypothetically, let's say the Elite League engage with you, you're brought over in a role. What sort of timescale do you put on implementing the changes that you want to bring in?
I think it would be hard to put a timetable on it. I'd like to get everything done the first year. Trust me, I'm one of those guys. It's just how I am. I want to see change right away. It would just be a matter of me talking to the owners, getting a feel for how things are going right now at this point. The player safety, that would be the first thing I'd want to get done. The webcast would be also another thing I want to get done, and the community involvement. Those are the three really, really big ideals that I would have that I'd really like to see taking place. The other things such as the All-Star game. I think that maybe we cut back the Challenge Cup a little bit. We're really shortening. It's already a long season for those guys anyways. You shorten the Challenge Cup. It's still fun to do. Maybe you work around the league title a little bit. Maybe we talk about making things a little bit more exciting, like some of these other leagues, like the Dell and all these other leagues where, okay, maybe the championship games are more focused towards playoffs. Make playoffs really exciting. That's you can more revenue through playoffs. Maybe make playoffs a little bit longer, some playoff series. Instead of having the central point for the games, the teams that place higher in the league, they get the home games. That's been something I've thought about. But like I said, it's all dialogue. It's all dialogue and talk to see how fans feel about it, to see how these players and also the owners feel about it. I think the All-Star idea would be great, to take out the playoff weekend, make the playoffs longer, and to have an All-Star weekend sort of similar to the NHL, because I know that it's only a 10-team league. So like maybe a 4-on-4 type of format or something very exciting for the fans. You put it in the city. You have a very, very big All-Star weekend where it's player Q&As. You have a skills competition where the fans can really get to interact with the players and get to see the skill, the harder shot, all those. I think it would be awesome. Music, a lot of live events. I think that would be great for the league. That's another way to generate revenue for the league. And like I said, it starts there. Those are some of the ideas that I've had that I've really, really thought about, and I think that really would make an impact and make things exciting. I mean, just imagine an All-Star weekend, what it would do. A playoff weekend's great, but all these players playing together and the fans aren't separated. They get to, join in and just enjoy celebrating the Elite League and how great it can be.
Just one final thing as well. You've spoken about the Nottingham Panthers Supporters Trust, which is currently being set up. What's your views on that? Like a trust that can work with the club, not just the Panthers one, but for all clubs.
I think it's great. Dialogue is great. Ways to better the fan experience. And my biggest thing is what I've talked about the IHL is the fan experience. Fans are upset right now. You look at the NHL and fan appreciation nights, fans this, all the videos are including in fans. I'd like to do that for the Elite League. Big league-wide videos of the fans having a great time celebrating and, the chants and the songs, and put that in a kind of a product video, and you can put that on the internet and basically have fan appreciation nights, like I had said. You have to make it about the fans, and I think that that's another thing that I've kind of focused on, is really just kind of broadening the spectrum for everybody. When you talk about the trust, my biggest thing is I would have each club how they have their fan memberships. Okay, I would want a person or a group from each club to have dialogue with me being the commissioner. 10 teams, 10 individuals about their fan experience and ways the league can better that. And I think that's another way, that's a good way to end it, because it is all about the fans, because they're the ones paying the tickets. And if we can better their experience, guess what? We broaden a whole nother world in bringing in more fans. The more fun it is for them to attend the games, the more fans you're going to get.
Well, Brock, it's been a fascinating chat. I'm sure it will get a lot of feedback and resonate with a lot of people throughout the league. I want to thank you very, very much for taking the time to speak to us once again.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.